Nicole, and I'm the Canadian Nickel. And today I'm going to be coloring Miss Lilith from Tickled Pink Stamps using my Stampin' Up markers. I've been promising a video all summer long, and with the new puppy, I haven't even had a chance. So just please bear with me. I have a cold today, and I'm going to try and not sniffle too much while I'm coloring. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, so these are my markers I've selected. This is the Only Orange and the Summer Sun, and I'm going to be coloring Lilith's dress, these orange colors. So when I'm coloring, what I always do is I keep a spare piece of paper on hand. I always start with my lightest color first. So this is how I test my colors to see if I want to actually color my image, because it does take a while to color. So often with the inking or printing, you'll get little black marks on the ends of your markers. So just kind of color it off to get rid of the darkness. So you always start with your lightest color first, and then I take my darker color over top, and then I take my lighter color again, and I blend. And that is how I am able to blend my Stampin' Up markers. I assume it's the same as blending with Copics as well. So I'm just gonna go ahead and start Lilith's dress, and then I take the darker and I do as if there was light coming from one side of her, and I shade that way, and shadow, shade and shadow, and then I go over again with the light, just like that. And that is how I'm able to make my markers look the way they look. And I'll usually repeat this process about 2 to 3 times and try to follow the lines of the image. So her skirt is kind of sweeping off to the side, so I will sweep my markers off the same way. And probably each image takes me anywhere from 30 to 45 minutes to color, so it does take some time. So now I'm going to try the purple. I'm not sure, I have 3 purples here. I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet, so that's why you have this little scrap piece of paper. Lighter, darker, and then blend. Now it's pretty close, so I'm going to go lighter, darker. Oh, I like that one. Okay, so this one's going to go away. Back where it belongs. Lovely lilac. Goodbye, lovely lilac. All right, so this is the lighter color. So I'm going to do her shirt in the purple. And again, it's just the same thing. If you go over a little bit, you're going to be blending over top. So if you make a little mistake, that's okay. All right, so I've gone ahead and I've colored out all her accents, including her flowers, and those are 2 of my favorite colors to use, including the orange. And again, remember I said that there was this little bit of pilling and not to worry about it, so I'm just going to kind of sweep it off. Still looks a little rough, but that's all right. Sometimes that happens. All right, so I'm going to color her hair green, because green is just really kind of, at this time of year, perfectly gruesome. Okay, so I've gone ahead and I've colored all her hair in the lighter green. And so I'm going to take this darker green, which is Old Olive, one of my favorite greens. And this is certainly celery. So again, you want to make that highlight like she's got really shiny hair. And so you just do these little bands of the darker. And you want to match it to the other side. And then take your lighter color over top and run it through by blending. So go right over top of that darker green. And this is just more of a, you blend until you get the look that you want. All right, and then the final step that I do is I use my light gray, if I can get into it. And then I find that when you do this, it just pops. So you just outline her. And what this also does, if you're cutting out your image, it makes it much easier to cut. Now, before we cut her out, unless you want her to look that scary, you're gonna wanna put some color in her face. So what I do, I think I'm gonna put some green. I blend these two colors together, and sometimes I'll use a gray, sometimes I'll use purple, sometimes I'll use a soft pink. So this is Sage Shadow and Blush Blossom. So again, it's that same thing. You want to highlight the shadows of her face. And the face, I find, is a really easy spot to smudge. So you just want to, this is where that dabbing comes in. You just want to dab around all those darker lines. Now, as if the light's coming this way, I'm going to shade in some of this green because it's Halloween, so I wanted to make kind of like make her look. Maybe that's too dark of a green, but that's okay. It can all be fixed. Let's try this green. Certainly celery. And just color that in, blend, blend, blend. Okay, so that's how I go ahead and I color blend with my Stampin' Up markers, and then I'm gonna cut this image out and I'm gonna get to building the card. Okay, so here are all the pieces to my card. I've gone ahead and I've pre-assembled some of it. I went and used my tin foil method because everybody seemed to like that so much, and it was really fun, along with this Cuttlebug embossing folder. What's it called? Skeleton Scroll is what it's called. And I did grab this from the Scrap Hut as part of my little Hop of Horrors blog hop projects. And you can get this at the Scrap Hut. She has tons and tons of stuff. It was so much fun. So I went and ran it through my Cuttlebug, cut it out, and just have to be really careful applying it. And then I picked up this Halloween ribbon last week at Michael's, 40% off, and it's so stinking cute. So I'm going to put it on my card. I've gone ahead and I have used my scissors to rough up the edges, and then use my little spongy dauby thing to blacken the edges. So you just want to mount your card. And when you're working with tinfoil, just be careful that you're not like mushing it down, because it can rip. It's pretty fragile. And this is a sketch challenge. So I used my October 31st card, which again is a giveaway on October 2nd for the Little Hop of Horrors blog hop. And I cut out this little window at 3, what did I cut it out? 3.5. No, this one was 4 inches. And then I used some paper and then the clear cardstock to give it a window look. And part of the sketch challenge is there's 2 little circles here. So instead of circles, I'm using these spiders. These are cut out at 1 3/4 inches. I don't know if you can see that. They're there. They're cut out at 1 3/4 inches, and they're really hard to do when it's that small because the October 31st cartridge is so intricate, and I absolutely love it. So I'm going to try and find my other spider. Here he is. So now what happens, I'm just going to put this down and get a lighter piece of paper to show you. So what happens is when you're cutting out at like under 2 inches on a cartridge that's this intricate, sometimes you can miss some legs. They kind of tear off, and I didn't want the spider any big. So I'm going to fudge a bit. There, let's move all this out of the way. And I'm going to show you how to correct this mistake. If you want a smaller spider, then the legs keep ripping off. So just glue a little bit on those broken legs. Flip it over, and I've already done it on here. And then just tape it. And then I've got my little image, which I color match kind of to this paper. She's up on the Stampin' Up Dimensionals. And don't worry if it's all kind of a little bit damp, the paper. I mean, that's just normal. You've just put a ton of ink on it. I think I put her right about here. All right, so one of my giveaways is the My Pink Stamper stamp set, and I used the Spooky Puns for this card, and I used Batty for You. These are really cute, and I wanted to show how you can use these cricket-inspired stamps from My Pink Stamper and the stamp sets I often use, the Scrappy Mom stamps. I wanted to show you how you can use them with not only your Cricut images, but also your Digi images and your stamping. So it's not quite as traditional as what a lot of people use them for, but it's just a little something different that I like to do. And all these pattern papers I've used, you can get at the Scrap Hut. All right, pop that down in the corner. And because it's Batty for You, and I don't seem to have a bat, I'm gonna go grab a bat. So I learned this little technique off of one of my design team members. She curls the bat wings under, and although that seems like common sense now that I know it, I totally didn't think about that before, and now I think it's the most brilliant thing ever. So curl those little bat wings and then help them along by just curling them a bit more. There's the little Batty for You. Okay, so there's my Burnt Nest Dolls challenge card for this week, and it's also a sketch challenge, which is great because that means you don't have to figure out the design. It's already done for you. Also, all week I'm going to be previewing all the giveaways on my Little Hop of Horrors blog hop coming this Saturday, October 2nd, where you will have 7 chances to win from 7 awesome giveaways and sponsors. The October 31st cartridge, Tickle Pink Stamps is giving away some Digi images, and the My Pink Stamper stamp. So this is just one of them. Check back every single day on my blog because I will be showcasing all of the different giveaways so you get great ideas.
Evening when everything is getting kind of groovy, I call you up and ask you if you'd like to go with me and see a movie. First you said no,